was born in Mexico in a small village called La Escondida, which means the hidden place. And then my parents moved around in Mexico for a while I was growing up. And we finally ended up in San Blas Nayarit, which is south from Mazatlan, about 5 hours, and north from Puerto Vallarta, about 3 hours, right by the ocean. My dad, he would be farming sometimes, and sometimes he would be fishing. So it was either one of those two things. And, we grew up helping as much as we could. In fact, when I was 6, he took myself and the older ones along so that we could help him weed the plants that he was growing. Sometimes he would grow watermelon, sometimes corn, depending on, what he decided to grow. Anyway, we went, and I was only 6, little, because I'm not that tall to begin with. And he and I were working on one row. And my brothers and sisters, the older ones, had their own row. And anyway, but that day was pretty exciting because there was a storm coming, like thundering and everything. And we were walking, of course, and we tried to go as fast as we could, but my little legs could not keep up. So my dad ended up carrying me. And we got home just in time. Oh my goodness. And the storm came down and everything. We made it home so luckily just in time. But yeah, we used to go help them. And my poor mother had 17 kids and 1 miscarriage. She stopped having babies because I got in the way. When my youngest brother, when she was expecting my younger brother, he was born in October. And, she had to go through the heat of the summer, pregnant, and she would lose her appetite when she was, in the heat. She couldn't eat properly, so she was really anemic, and she wasn't doing well. And I noticed that she wasn't doing well, so my dad was gone to look. So when I decided to take my mom to the hospital or to the doctor, my older brother said, no, we have to wait for my dad so we can talk to him, because he was the one to decide everything. She needs help, I'm going to take her. And then he said, but that is going to get mad at you. I don't care. She needs help. He gets mad at me, who cares? So then I took her to the doctor, and the doctor said, you know what, take your mom to the hospital right now. If you don't, she's not going to make it, because she has 1 more month to go. And the baby's not going to make it either. I said, okay, so I took her to the hospital, and the nurses, looked after her, and they said, you know what, we're going to keep her here. Went right away. 2 days after the baby was born, I went to see my mom, and my older sister, who lived in that town where their hospital was, she was there too, visiting my mom. And then my mom told us that the doctor said to her, I think you had enough babies. We need to do something so you don't have any more. And then my mom says, so I have to talk to my husband about it. And when she was telling us that, and when she said that to us, my older sister and me, I said, no, you don't have to talk to Dad. Do it. I said, you already have 17. You don't need to have any more. I said, you're the one who stays home to look after everybody. He goes to work. Yes, he's a very hard worker, and that's good. But you're the one looking after us. You don't have to talk to him. Just get it done. And then my older sister said, Gabby's right. Just get it done. And anyway, so luckily she listened, and she let the doctor do whatever they needed to do. And then, we were either a year apart or 2 years apart. So a year went by, no baby. 2 years went by, no baby. And then my dad found out. Too late. But he didn't get upset, so that was good. And my family is a mix of brown people and white people. And I grew up with 4 white sisters. My 2 older sisters were white, and my sister next to me was white too. And the funny thing was that, people used to talk to them when they saw us together, and sometimes they say, how come your sister is kind of ugly? And one of my older sisters, she wanted to pulverize them. She would get so mad at them. And I said, calm down. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I know you love me anyway. Don't worry about it. But you're not ugly. I said, well, I don't care. Let them talk whatever they want. But because I was brown and they were white, that's probably why, right? I was working at a hotel where he stayed. And the funny thing was, I had quit that job 3 times. And because I wanted to take a break, and my boss just kept on ignoring. The fourth time that I did it was after I met my husband, because he and 3 of his friends were there. And as soon as I met him, as soon as we met, I could feel something like, and I kept telling myself, no, it's not true. Forget it. Don't think that. And I could see that he had some feelings for me as well, like right away as soon as we met. But he didn't know a lot of Spanish, and I didn't know English, so we couldn't really communicate. But the cook in the restaurant, he knew English, and my husband used to tell her this and this and that, ask her this and that, and he would come to me. And I kept saying, nah, you're crazy. And he said, no, really, he has the hots for you. And I said, no, he doesn't. But then, eventually they said they were going to go further south in Mexico to see other places. And I thought, aha, I'm going to quit, and I'm not going to be here when they get back. So he happened to see me in town, and then he said, well, I have to go tomorrow. And I said, well, have a good trip. And then, so off he went with his friend. That was December. And then February after that, suddenly I see him in town. I thought, what? And then by that time, actually he saw my brother first with my bike. And he said to my brother, would you like a beer? Let's go, I'll invite you for a beer. And then he gave him, he gave him 2 beers, and then he asked him, where does your sister work? And then my brother said, what's it to you? And then he fed him more beer. And then after he was, I guess, drunk enough, he asked him again, where does your sister work? And then my brother told him. The next morning he was at my work. And when I saw him, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought, you? And he got a smile from ear to ear. I found you. And then he said, do you want to go to the movies with me? Because I have to leave tomorrow. I just came down to look for you. And I said, really? Anyway, and then I thought, okay, I've been hiding long enough. I guess, okay, I'll go. So we went to the movies, and then after that he gave me his address, and we started writing to each other. And he sent me pictures, and he asked me to send pictures to him. And then, we did that for 2 years, and then we got married. Then I came up here, and here I am. But I was the ugly one. And actually, when I got married to my husband, and he brought me up here, supposedly, some people were saying, wow, the ugly one got lucky. When my mom told me that, I burst out laughing. I said, really? Okay. I totally thought that's funny. Okay, fine. The ugly one got lucky, all right. But, it's just like always, people talk before they know how to. But, lucky for me, it never bothered me. When I was growing up, I was a tomboy. And because of that, a lot of people used to say things about me. Did I care? Nope. And, it was lucky that I didn't care, because all through my life, it would have been such a horrible life if I care about what people would say about me. Because, when I came up here and I went to have my first son, there was one nurse at the hospital who didn't have anything to do with me. She would say, good morning, how are you? Nothing. When I started at school, the secretary, she didn't want anything to do with me. And then when she found out that I knew sign language, she changed her tune right away. Maybe she thought I was stupid, I don't know. But yeah, before that, she had no time for me, not at all. I thought, whatever. So lucky thing I never cared about what people thought about me. And I've always told my kids when as they were growing up, look, as long as you're not hurting anybody or yourself, don't worry about what people say. Just be happy and healthy. But you know what? One thing that my mom told me after I left, she said there were people saying good things about us too. She said that some people were saying, wow, that was so nice to see. Because usually the Mexican girl is way younger than the gringo, that's what they call them. And but this time they're both so young. That was so beautiful to see. That's what some people were saying. Because, my husband was only a year older than me. To learn here. One of my sisters gave me a little book where I could learn from. And my husband would go to work and I would stay home and study as much as I could every day. And then whenever he came home, I had all kinds of questions. He came to the point where he said, don't ask me anything, I don't know anything. Because he couldn't explain why you don't hear the GH in light and night and those kind of things. He couldn't explain that. So at the end he said, don't ask me anything, I don't know anything. He was just a crazy English. I said, okay, fine. Yeah, it was challenging. But I was good for the challenge and I did it. Like I said, my husband said, what if it's too hard? And I said, oh, maybe I'll quit. And then I thought, no, I'm not. Not quitting. She lives up there. So, and this house, we bought this house in 1980. We used to live in a motel that was down there that is gone. And we lived there until my second son was born, which was 1980. He was 3 months old when we bought this house. My husband was actually walking up and he saw the fella who owned the house and he saw the sign. And then he said, Gabby, there's a house for sale there, maybe we can buy it. And he came again after and saw the guy outside again and talked to him. And they made a deal, handshake. And supposedly somebody else offered him more money. And he said, no, I already made a deal with a nice family and I'm going to keep it. And I thought, wow, are we so lucky? Because, how many people do that? Actually, my husband rented that place at the motel next to another Mexican girl. Because he knew she lived there, he thought that'll be a good place to rent because then she'll have somebody to talk to. Because, like I said, I didn't know much English, right? So it was a good thing. But I had nightmares for the longest time. I used to dream that my mom was saying, you're a bad daughter. You left us behind. And I would wake up like soaked in tears. I was just crying so much in my dream. My husband would wake me up. Gabby, wake up, you're dreaming. And I would wake up and I would be just soaked because I was crying so much in my dreams. And, eventually they stopped, but they lasted a long time. And, I never left my family before. And we were a close family, so it was hard to just take off. And, when he was picking cherries, I decided when my youngest was 2, my middle son was 5, and my old son was 8, I decided, we're coming to help you. And he said, what? I said, yeah. And what about the kids? So we're going to leave them with babysitter? I said, no, they're coming with us. And I said, they can pick too. And then my 5-year-old, I made him a picking bucket with a bleach bottle. And I put straps, and then he was picking on that. My 8-year-old, he was able to use the buckets from the orchard. And I said to them, look, fill up your own boxes. That way I know how many you picked, and I can give you the money. So 5 and 8-year-old. So at the end of the picking season, the cherry picking season, that is, they got their money. And then they were all excited about the money. And they got together and were talking about what to do with the money. And they came to me, can we buy a Nintendo? No. Mom, no, but it's our money. I don't care, buying a Nintendo. I don't want you in front of the thing all day. We go for walks, we, get fresh air. I don't want you in front of the thing all day. Forget it. But Mom, no, not going to happen. Forget it. Leave me alone. So they went away again and they talked, and then later on came back. Can we buy a skateboard? Yep, that's good. Go ahead, buy a skateboard. And then, sometime later, a friend of theirs came to play, and then he saw the skateboards. Wow, your parents bought you a skateboard? And then they said, no, we bought it with our own money. I could still see their face was just beaming with pride. They were so proud of it. And I thought, yes, way better than Nintendo. And, people kept saying, get a job and you guys can fix your house and, it'll be better. And I said, no, I want to stay home with my kids. They're more important to me than any money in the world. So I'll stay home, and then when they go to school, then I get a job. But actually, when my youngest was in kindergarten, I decided to go back to school. So I took a course by correspondence, and then when he was in grade 1, I went back to school. And he said, but it's going to be too hard. Oh, well, if it's too hard, I'll quit. And then I thought to myself, I'm not quitting. So I went back to school, and yeah, I didn't get my teacher certificate. I became a, educational assistant kind of thing. And, I thought I always wanted to work with kids. That's close enough. And the counselor at the school and friends and some other teachers, they kept saying, Gabby, keep going to school, become a teacher, come on, you'll be good at it. And I said, no, because if I do that, I have to drive to Kelowna. That's going to be time away from my kids. I don't want to take too much time from my kids. I want to be with them as much as possible. But you can get a babysitter. I said, no. I want to be the one, like when they were little, when they asked me to get a job, when they were suggesting that I get a job. And I said, no, I want to be with my kids. I want to be the one who sees the first steps. I want to be the one who hears the first words. Not a babysitter, me. And nobody could talk me into getting a job before they actually, were old enough to go to school. And when I went back to school, my husband said, who's going to do the housework? I said, all of us. And who's going to look after the kids? I am. They go to school, I go to school. They come home, I come home. Everything is going to be fine. And yeah, if I had to do it again, I would do it exactly the same way. So we run into financial problems paying for the courses. Then some of my friends said, Gabby, why don't you go to the high school? You don't have to pay for anything and you can take any course you want. I said, really? You gotta be kidding. They said, no. Go there. You don't have to pay anything. And I thought, So I went to the school and talked to the counselors and the principal and everybody I thought I needed to talk to. And they said, oh, yeah, you can come. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to put up with kids. And I thought, that's not going to be a problem. And the funny thing was, my oldest son was in grade 9 already. And when I told him that I was going to go to the high school where he was already going, he said, Mom, please don't go to my school. And I said, why not? Well, people are going to be teasing me. My friends are going to be teasing me because they're going to say, oh, Mommy's here to look after her baby. And I said, no, they're not. Mom, please. And I said, look, I'll make you a deal. If they start teasing you, I'll go back to the college. I'll find the money somewhere, somehow. But, I'll go back to the college. Or do you want to give me the money? And he says, I don't have it. I said, me neither. So then I said, that's the deal. The first week, I was asking him every single day, so did anybody teach you? The first day, he said to me, no, you went past my classroom. And one of my friends says, oh, I think I saw your mom go by. And I say, yeah, she's taking courses. Really? I wish my mom would do that. So I did half of grade 11 at the high school and my grade 12. And then for my grade 12, I got a bursary, and my brother-in-law's wife told me that somebody asked her, is that your daughter?" And she said, "No, she's my sister-in-law." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, she went back to school." And then after that, with the bursary that I got, that helped pay for the course to become a teacher assistant. And then I got hired right away because, the teachers at the high school, they knew me already, so I got hired quickly, and that was good. I mean, ever since I was little, I wanted to work as a teacher, ever since I can remember. So I got to get close enough, but not quite there. But still, I helped special needs, and that was very rewarding. I started as a substitute, so I was working at the high school, middle school, elementary school, in Penticton also because of the school district. And then when I first got my full-time job, I got it because I knew sign language. And when I took my teacher assistant course, they taught us a little bit of sign language, and I totally fell in love with it. I thought, oh, I want to learn more. So on my own, I took more sign language. So when I started working for the school, I already knew enough. And then a job came up when I was doing subbing, and then I knew there were other workers, other teacher assistants who had more seniority than me, but they didn't have the sign language. So that job came up, and I applied for it, and because I was the only one that had sign language of the ones that could have it, then I got the job. And that's how I started working at the school, with a special needs. It was a Down syndrome with a guy. He was so funny. One time, he was pretending he was crying, and I signed to him, of course. I said, "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" And then he started laughing. He was pulling my leg. And I thought, "Oh, you fooled me." He was so fun. He was so fun to be with. I have my hair all the way down here. And, I was working with him. And one time I folded my hair up, and it looked like it was short like this. And when his mom dropped him off at school, he kept on walking back and walking back, and looking at me and walking back. And I said to his mom, "What is going on?" She says, "I don't know." And he kept walking back and looking at me with a scared look on his face. And I thought, And then I thought, "Oh yeah, my hair." So then I did my hair down, and then he was fine. The trees in the front were either 1904 or 1908, I forget. I have an air conditioner. I don't use it because the trees, they keep the house so nice and cool. So why get rid of them? You know what? When they put the sewer system, they were going to get rid of them. But luckily for me, they hired the father of the Down syndrome that I told you about. They hired him to do the sewer system, to dig up. And when he was told that we just get rid of those trees, he said, "No, we don't have to get rid of them. I'll walk around them." And then, they said, "No, no, no, just get rid of them." He said, "No, I'm not going to," because he knew how much I cared for them. And then I didn't find out until 2 years after. I ran into him and we got talking, and the topic came up, and I said, "Really? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know what else to say. You saved my trees. Thank you very much." I was so grateful. Oh, it paid off to be a teacher assistant. Oh, way, way better. We used to go to Mexico every year for 3 months when our kids were little. I would go to school and I asked the teacher for homework so that they won't fall behind. And at first, we were able to do it. And when we came back after the 3 months, they were actually ahead because the teacher gave me the things that they thought they were going to be done in that time, right? But whenever we came back, they were always ahead because they didn't get as far as the teacher thought they were going to get. So they were always ahead. But it was good that we were able to do it because for 3 months when they were in elementary school, because then they got to, learn Spanish a little bit better. And, I was totally firm for them to learn Spanish. I said, you're at school, you use English. You're at home, you use Spanish. And sometimes if they would talk to me in English, I wouldn't pay attention. So that they would talk to me in Spanish. And thanks to that, they can go to Mexico and they can communicate. It's not perfect by any means, but they can get along fine. But you know what? If I hadn't done that, they would only have English. And to me, if they have a chance to learn another language, why not, right? Because I said to them, look, there are other kids who probably wish they could learn another language and they don't have the opportunity. My oldest son actually was kind of embarrassed when he first started going to school if I spoke to him in Spanish in front of his friends. And I said, oh, I don't care, I'm going to do it anyway. My two younger ones, they didn't care if I talked to them in Spanish or not in front of their friends. But yeah, my oldest son got used to it and then he didn't care anymore. Actually, one of my sons said to me one time, Mom, you're stubborn. And I said, no, I'm not stubborn. And I said, I'm determined. Stubborn to me is somebody who does the wrong thing only because they don't agree with the right thing. To me, that's stubborn, right? And I said, I'm not like that. And he says, yeah, you're right, Mom, you're right. So he agreed with me at the end.
Determined.
Determined is better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And resilient.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gabby Moyls.
Yay, Gabby.
Gabby is indeed an unsung hero in our community. She has worked tirelessly for many years with minor soccer and volunteered to help with every production in the high school. She was also there to help in whatever capacity she was needed. She is known to take on any task and be completely trustworthy. It is through Gabby's work with challenged children that she is truly inspiring. Affectionately called an angel on earth by the people who have seen her working and caring for others. She serves others quietly, compassionately, and nurtures all who come in her path. Gabby, our unsung hero and angel on earth. Gabby Moyls.